friends get together so they can try things. You're invited to this podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Hello, and welcome to Now Try This, a podcast where two best friends get together every week to try new things. I'm Marcus, and that's Nick. I'm done with giving us nicknames at the beginning of the episodes. I'm not doing that anymore.
No, that's my favorite part.
Nope.
That's my favorite part.
Nope, you can do
Give me
it.
one more. One last one.
One last one to go out?
Yeah.
Hold on. Give me a second to compose myself.
Also, you should scoot a little to your left. You're mostly upright.
There you go.
Yeah, good job.
I saw that. I was like, oh no. And okay, ready? I'm Marcus, the off-frame boy. And that's Nick, the centered motherfucker. There you go.
Oh,
Beautiful.
I'm Nick, the centered motherfucker. Thanks, Marcus.
Yeah,
Way
that's
to
pretty
leave us
deep
with a
too.
bang. Guys,
You'd be centered
this
emotionally.
is Now Try This, a podcast where two best friends try things. What does that mean? That means we have tried things every week. We challenge each other to try our favorite things once a month. You guys decide. Last week's our episode was Barry, submitted to us by Daron. Thank you so much to Daron. And guys, you can start submitting stuff for next month whenever you would like. Just go ahead and join that Patreon, patreon.com/nowtrythiscast. We are very excited to see what June will bring us. It's the summer. People get creative in the summer. It's wheeling and dealing time. $5 lets you submit, and only $1 you get to vote on that submission every month.
Nick, I got a DM about a submission on Instagram.
Oh, was somebody mad at you?
And someone was like, no, they just forgot to.
Oh.
I'm a shout out to Thomas Hull,
Oh,
who
sometime.
forgot to submit his
Hey, Tommy.
request last month on the Patreon. So he DM'd me, which is acceptable if I know you in real life. For
You can
a
we're
certain
not,
amount of time. You get two. You get two. And
As
that's
of
it.
right now, you could DM us wherever you would like, but specifically at Now Try This Cast, we will see your messages.
Mhm.
Let us know what's going on. If you have reservations, if you just want to chat, let us know. We are excited to hear about it. Marcus, last week was Barry. I have not watched any more Barry because my girlfriend is still trying to plug along through it. I don't think she's tried once, and I'm pissed about it because I really want to watch Barry season 2 because last episode was great and it made me even more excited for the show.
Hell yeah. I am caught up to Barry, and I have watched all of it since our last episode.
Really? Wait, what?
Mhm.
It's been 1 week and you've watched two more seasons?
Yeah, 100%.
And what's your verdict? What's your
Well, just one
takeaway?
more season because the new season's only like 2 episodes out.
Oh, okay.
The new season is very stressful. It's so stressful that I don't know if I can consider this show a comedy anymore.
Ooh, I love that.
Mhm.
That's one of my
Mhm.
favorite things when that happens.
Yeah, it's
When you start off and you're all jovial and nice, and then it's like shit's real.
there's a lot of shit going on. Barry is just being Barry in a way that you're like, huh, the show is having to deal with consequences, I guess, from the other seasons.
Which is crazy. A lot of shows won't do that. That's awesome. Marcus, before we get any farther, I would like a new tradition on this show. You will have
okay.
You have a new setup behind you. I would like you to pick one piece of thing from behind you from your new setup to explain what it is, where it came from, and why you like it.
Oh my god.
Besides the fact that you're cucked, I see that fucking cute ass picture of you and your fucking girl right there in your fucking left ear trying to be like,
I don't know
"Hey,
what you're
girl."
talking about. This
You're-
one right here?
Oh, did she put it there? Oh, that would be even better.
If
you
she
didn't
put
even
it
put it there, you'd be
there,
like,
no,
what?
I put it there. I was like, hey, I want a picture of us. And she was like, oh, okay. Let's see.
Surprise.
What can I?
But I picked that one, so you need to pick one.
Oh, okay. Here, you can't see it in here, but I'm gonna for the first one.
Are you going to screw up your whole setup to show us something?
100%.
Great, perfect.
Okay.
wouldn't have
do
it
you
any
do
other way.
podcast? Let's go up
Holy
two
shit.
shelves. You see that right there over there? My best friend and podcast co-host bought me the first issue of Invincible CGC graded because he knew I loved it. And that was way before it was popular. And it's right there. It's fucking right there, baby. On display.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to whoever that motherfucker was.
It was
He
you
sounds
son of a
sexy.
bitch.
Well, Marcus, thank you so much for that. Oh, I could do something. Let's
Yeah.
see.
Go ahead. I like this segment.
Here is. Ooh, I love this. This is a stuffed
You
teddy
already
bear.
showed that one.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Okay. Here is my copy of Super Smash Brothers, my 64 copy.
Wow.
Back in the day, me and Joseph wore this thing down. Still works.
Hell yeah.
Ready to play anytime. If it's the original or Melee, I will kick anyone's ass.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
go.
Guys,
Let's
and if
fucking
you're
go.
listening and you're wondering what we're talking about, what we're showing on screen, check out our Twitch, check out our YouTube. We got plenty of visuals for you guys to look at. Now I have a good setup. So it's like twice the reason to be watching our beautiful faces and our beautiful setups.
And that's twitch.tv/now try this cast every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, Marcus, have you tried, before we get to today's topic, which is my challenge, I challenge you to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Have you tried anything new this past week?
Okay.
I know why you're always stressed. You can say no.
I'm going to say, yeah, I have.
Okay.
Nick, how many times on average in a month do you go to Home Depot?
I probably go to Home Depot once every 2 years to fix a sink or something.
Interesting.
Because I'm pretty handy.
I believe it. I think I've seen it a couple of times. I don't remember, but I believe you. I am in Home Depot all the time, and I think the new thing I'm trying is being a homeowner and I didn't realize how often you fucking have to go to Home Depot. I think you just buy everything on Amazon. They don't have everything. I'm finding out. You have to go to Home Depot sometimes.
Like
cock? Wood?
What are you buying slabs of wood for?
Shelves? You gotta make it look nice. You gotta do shit. I guess they have spray paint on Amazon, but it's more expensive for some reason. Stupid.
I'm excited to see all this wood you now have in your home.
Mm-hmm.
I am super excited about it.
Nick, what about you? Are you trying anything new?
Today, before this podcast this morning, was in my second commercial.
Oh shit.
Very, very small thing that'll just be on socials. Just paid a couple $100. But the fact of the matter is, here's me.
$100 is
in a
not
spot.
Nothing. That's great.
I know, it's really, honestly, it's great. It was an ad for a coffee company that's going to be starting in Virginia that I think is delivering artisan like lattes. Like the whole pitch is like coffee sucks. So they're doing a whole bunch of different scenarios where the people will spit out the coffee. And my scenario was I was with my partner and we were on like a third date or a fourth date or something. And I'm like, here, oh, yeah, we're on a picnic. Nice. Here, have some coffee. Oh, look at the water. And when she takes a sip, she spits it out and then looks back like, huh. And I'm like, what happened? Why is the date ruined? And that was my part.
Wow.
In
Nick,
the commercial.
I want to know so badly who they cast as your partner.
Do I get residuals, old man Ram? Thank you so much for that question. No, I had to sign all my rights away to the footage. Now, that's how it starts at the beginning. You do these little small bit parts. You get paid a couple $100. You sign all your rights away so that you have footage for the real ones for Verizon and Allstate and shit. And those are where you do get like residuals. Those are the ones where like every year you can have a couple $1,000 in your bank for doing nothing. That's the dream. Yeah. That's the goal.
You want to land like being the new sexy Michelin man. Like that's what you want. You want Michelin man money.
That's the Michelin man money. That's what I want.
Yeah.
No, she was I don't know how to describe it. She was a person. She was pretty. She had hair.
Your girlfriend is like 2 feet away from you. You don't have to describe her. You're good. You don't have to describe
you asked. I don't know. She was nice.
I've never seen you.
Actually, you know what's the funniest part? The funniest part to me was, you've never seen me on these things, but I'm like, I'm awkward like in real life, but when I'm in that situation, I'll usually like before we even start be like, hey, is it okay if I put my hand on your leg so it looks like we're being flirty in the scene? And then you'll be like, yeah, you fucking idiot. I'll be like, great. And then I'll do it. And then before I had a chance, she was just like, and I'm like, whoa, hold on. Okay, I'm ready. So honestly, I was telling Lexi, I do not think I did a good job today. I feel like I looked like a statue and I was stiff and I was super tired. I was up all night, couldn't sleep for lots of reasons, but I know the other commercial I did look good.
Okay, that's
because I saw footage and they said it looked good.
You got one.
This one, I don't know. You know why I also don't know? Because they did everything in one take. They would take a shot, they do the take, and then they'd move the camera. And I'm like, listen, I either fucking nailed it, you guys are very unprofessional, or you don't care it looks like shit. I don't know. Maybe I crushed it.
Yeah,
maybe I crushed it.
Maybe you crushed it.
Maybe I crushed it.
Maybe you crushed it. Maybe that was part of it. Maybe they wanted like, oh, look at this guy. Before he drinks the coffee, he's so stiff, and then you loosened up without knowing it. And they're like, oh wow, the effects of the coffee are taking place. Look at him.
That would totally work if I was the one drinking coffee, but I didn't. She did. She kept spitting it out. I never drank any of the coffee.
Okay, that's fair. Well, then I don't know.
But don't worry, guys. Once I see it, we will tweet it out and Instagram it for everyone to see. Because honestly, I kind of hope it is bad, because that'll be hilarious.
Either way, you got paid, and I love it. I'm happy for
I got
you.
paid.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, without further ado, Marcus, let's get to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Pew, 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 pew.
No, that wasn't enough pomp and circumstance. Do it again.
Okay, Marcus, we are done with what we were talking about because it's time for the return of the horror meister. It is time to go back to the artisan of thriller genre.
Mhm.
It's time to bring back the auteur of the superhero genre, Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, starring not one, but two Benedicts.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That was the right amount of pomp. Could have used a little bit more circumstance, but you did good. You did good.
And if we don't hurry up and get to this review, the whole place is going to blow up on fire. Is that better circumstance?
That's great. That's great.
Great. Yes, I gave you Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness for two reasons. One, I have been so busy, I've tried nothing new. But two, I was legitimately excited for this movie. I enjoyed the first Doctor Strange.
Okay.
I will be the first to tell you, it is clumped in with all those other origin Marvel movies, and there's a lot, it's very formulaic, and it's okay. I like Benedict Cumberbatch in it. I like Rachel McAdams in it. There are moments that are good, but for me, not enough magic. They try to do that Marvel thing where they ground all the magic. Like in Thor, they did it. Like in Iron Man, they did it with the science. And I'm like, nah, do weird shit. And then in Endgame and Infinity War and Spider-Man, they started to do that. They started to let Doctor Strange do weird magic-y things. So I was super excited about this. And Marcus, I am so glad that besides that preview at the end of No Way Home, I avoided all the trailers. So I was surprised. It turns out for a lot more stuff than a lot of people already knew.
Hell yeah.
And guys, we're about to spoil the shit out of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So get the fuck out of here. Go watch the movie and then come back.
100%.
Because spoilers galore. Marcus, were you excited about this movie?
God, you in your one introduction, I have like 10 things that I want to talk about already.
It's so hard. There's so much to talk about, Marcus. There's so much.
If we approach it in that way where we're just talking about things like that, I think we'll be fine. Okay. So I want to comment on what you said about there not being enough magic. I think that is so well put. I love that you said that because that was I hated the first Doctor Strange movie. You liked it. I fucking hated it. I thought it was one of the worst Marvel movies I've ever seen.
I'm more forgiving to that stuff.
Yeah.
But you're completely warranted to feel that way.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot.
I did not like it. I totally understand why people liked it. But at that point, I didn't need another origin story. We were kind of over origin stories. I don't care about Doctor Strange. Benedict Cumberbatch's version of Doctor Strange felt very like Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch's
batches. Cumberbatch. His name is
the comeback kid Benedict.
Comeback kid Benedict. Anyway, his version of Doctor Strange, I didn't like. It felt like it didn't have any heart, any passion, anything behind it. But I don't think that was his fault, right? You can say the same thing about Thor, right? Like Thor 2, Thor, you're like, this is fucking stupid.
Perfect Chris Hemsworth example. Sucks at Thor 1 and 2.
Thor Ragnarok, you're like, holy shit, Chris Hemsworth, the perfect Thor. So it depends on what they're given. And so I feel like he wasn't given enough in that movie. And the magic too, if you've read Doctor Strange, right? Like the magic in Doctor Strange is weird. It's trippy. Like Doctor Strange was created in a time where everyone writing comics was on acid. And it was like
70s. Yeah.
And it was like, it is so in the blood of Doctor Strange to experience an acid trip mid like comic book. And it is just like weird and trippy, and the art is everywhere, and it's like breaking the fourth wall in certain ways, and like it's just like going to other dimensions. There's realms, there's things that your mind can't even comprehend. Like stuff like that is in Doctor Strange. And in the Marvel version of Doctor Strange, he gets a couple whips and more arms. Like, are you fucking serious?
They're always like it's always like, oh, I know that spell. He's doing that one spell.
Yes.
He's doing that one spell that I've seen. I know how it works because it's so far in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's been a hard magic system where it's been like the teleportation works like this. This is how the warp thing works. We're going to use those things cool, like in Infinity War when they used the portal to cut that guy's arm off. Cool use of the thing. Cool use of the system they put in place. But they put systems in place.
Yes. And it doesn't feel like magic. It feels like Harry Potter, where like
Yeah.
Harry Potter is magic.
It feels like magic. It doesn't feel like sorcery. It doesn't feel like wizardry.
Feel bigger. Like
it doesn't feel like
I don't know why I was having this discussion, but I was like, if someone just took a gun to Hogwarts, like they could just destroy all the wizards, right? Like there's nothing like the magic in Harry Potter doesn't feel powerful.
Yeah.
And the magic from Doctor Strange needs to feel powerful. He's stopping like cosmic beings from destroying the universe. Like we need to see that represented on screen, and him throwing little whip at Thanos and shit like that didn't do that for me. So far before this, I did not like Doctor Strange, but I like Sam Raimi a lot. You know this.
You have a hard on for Sam Raimi.
Have
you are underplaying
full-on erection for Sam Raimi. I love him. I love his work. I mean,
Oz the Great and Powerful, one of your favorite films
Nick,
to date.
Shut up. Evil Dead. We're not talking about this, okay? Any creator, you can grab like some dog shit thing that they did and be like, look, this is their work also. But no, like
only one.
Army of Darkness, Evil Dead, like that core series, even the original Spider-Man, like
the original Spider-Man,
they were fucking great. Well, the third one wasn't, but the third one even then had like this weird quirky humor that's become a meme.
It was
now.
the producer. It was we know it's the producers and everyone
100%.
getting involved.
Yeah.
That's
so
why there were 3 villains.
He has this weird sense of like horror and comedy, and he likes mixing them together to like this weird campy thing that is still kind of scary. And it's so unique to Sam Raimi that I feel like I'm always excited by it. It always feels new and it feels fresh, and it feels like it's something you only get with him right now. Hopefully in the future, more people can do stuff like this, but so far till this day, no one's really doing it.
Yeah, gosh, I now I know how you feel because you've said so much I want to comment on, but I don't want to like get ahead of ourselves. 100%. But I do want 2 things I want to say before we get any farther. One, there's going to be huge swaths of this podcast that it's going to sound like I hated this film, and there's going to be huge swaths of this podcast where I'm going to sound like this is the best movie anyone has ever made. Okay, and I still sitting here couldn't give you a letter rating for the film.
I don't
because you start talking to me about one thing. Because
this movie,
I'll say
Sam Raimi can't
and then another
get
one
letter
to say it to you.
ratings. I am
funny.
like Evil Dead. I watched Evil Dead and I'm like, this is kind of a bad movie, but I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I left the theater. I left the theater of this movie and I was like, Daron, I don't think this is the best Marvel movie ever made, but it is my favorite Marvel movie so far.
Wow.
Yep.
You know what? Lexi said something similar. So you and Lexi are in the same boat. And then the second thing I want to comment on is the magic. So I think this is a great way to segment us into positive praise of what's going on in this movie. We were expecting something crazy because it's Sam Raimi. We were expecting more because it seemed like they were starting to loosen the belts from the Infinity movies and the Spider-Man movies getting into this one. So there were little moments in Infinity where like he summoned a bunch of butterflies and like this and that. I'm like, oh, okay. You're like trying. So I was like, is this going to be it? And I just want to talk about the magic. Just the magic of this film.
Just the
because
magic.
Marcus, it was fucking awesome. The fact that this is why it was awesome for me. There were moments of this film. So Doctor Strange is just a dude, right?
Yes.
Like he's just a fucking dude. And there were moments when he would get whipped around and he'd just be on the fucking ground and be like, yeah, he's just a fucking dude. He probably has a concussion, like huge. But there was, and I don't know if it was the director or Benedict or a combination, or I do know that Sam Raimi meticulously storyboards all his stuff. So that's probably what it plays to. But there were huge moments in this movie where it felt like Benedict as Doctor Strange was thinking about which spell and how to use it. And that's how a magician is supposed to operate. It's not just like Captain Marvel's like, shoot, shoot, shoot. It's innate. It's just like, I'm just shooting. But Doctor Strange has to be like, okay, I know literally 525,000 spells. What will I use? And he's a creative guy. So there are moments when he's like, I'm going to summon a demon dog to get that out of the way. I'm going to summon a buzzsaw to do this thing. I'm going to do this weird thing to get this thing done. He almost doesn't. There's a couple staples of like the whips and things. And honestly, we usually get those from the other people.
Yes.
Almost everything that Doctor Strange does in this film, almost, there's a little bit of like, this is just telekinesis or whatever, but most of it was like all unique different spells for each unique different situation.
I agree.
He did not, and that is amazing. That is what magic should be. That is a fucking sorcerer supreme, even though he's not that right now. That is what the Doctor Strange feel should be. Just like, I'm gonna do this random thing, and oh no, I'm cutting it, and I'm doing this random thing. And it just felt so much like a comic in that way, because in a comic, Bendis or whoever's writing it, they literally get to a problem and they're like, and I know I know this is how they do it. They get to a problem. They're like, what's a weird, cool way for Doctor Strange? I'm going to summon a demon pug and he's going to snatch it.
Yeah.
And like, that's how comics work. And that's how this movie worked
Mhm.
because Sam Raimi, I think, gets comics.
I agree 100%. He is a comic book fan.
What'd you think of the magic?
I was gonna say
The magic.
So it goes to my point earlier about sort of like when you have you made a great point. When you have superheroes, right? They are reaching into their tool bag of attacks or whatever to solve whatever problem, right? And a bad writer is gonna be like, Superman punch, enemy go down.
Yeah.
But Superman has a bunch of different kinds of powers. How can he use them in creative ways? I feel like good writers take that and make it interesting, right? But you're then again limited by the power set sometimes.
Yeah.
But with
a great example of that is Bruce Timm. I just remembered watching a Justice League Unlimited clip where Superman like cut out a piece of the ground, picked it up, and hit Shazam with that. And I'm like, yes, that's cool.
Yes, exactly.
He could have just punched him.
He could have just punched them. But yes,
that's good.
Exactly. Right. So same thing with magic, though, right? Magic, you have a user who knows a million spells and can do so much more. And so when he summons a big demon hand to grab like the bus falling from the sky or something, like that is so much cooler and more visually entertaining than him just teleport.
Stopping it.
Or stopping it. Like
stop.
And I love that. I love that as like a design choice. It was so much better and it felt so much more like Doctor Strange.
Yeah. I could have actually even done a little bit more. I thought there was a small moment or two of rest where I could have used a little bit more magic.
I agree. Yeah.
Like just not a lot, but there were some moments like when Doctor Strange is just fighting Mordo, and I'm just like, do a spell. Just fucking like you can't do anything with one hand. Like I don't know, like there's just like a whole bunch of little moments. You're like, do something weird, dude.
Yeah.
But we got some of it, and that was extremely satisfying.
And it was creative too, right? Because like we had that.
Yeah.
But then also like just to kind of skip ahead to the moment where he like the whole possessing of a demon body, using the zombie Strange, then turning the demons that were like coming after him into a cloak of darkness that he then like mind-blowing shit. That was very creative and I loved it.
Yeah. And then if we're just skipping around, dude, the music? Come on. The music? I thought when it started and I was like, he is not about to pull the fucking music off this paper and oh, he is.
Oh, the music.
Oh, they're still doing it.
Yes.
Oh, they're still going.
Yes.
Oh, there's still music. Oh, there's still okay. Oh, it's still it's still happening. He's not gonna pluck that heart for what he plucks the heart for one.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. And the fact that like they use silence and sound in such a beautiful way. That moment again felt like a magic fight. That felt like you are using magic. You are breaking the rules of the world to your, like, to do what you need to do.
Yes.
And that's what magic does.
Your magic is the understanding of the world and how to like bend it and shape it and break it. Yes. 100%.
I feel like a lot of times people use magic as a gun. I just watched a video about the history of all like Harry Potter, not the history, but like all of the Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone video games, like compared to one another, right? And they invented a spell called Flipendo. I might be wrong. I don't fucking know anything about Harry Potter.
Flips.
Anyway, but it's just like a blast attack. Blast attack. Magic isn't a fucking gun. It's not just like a blunt object to be used. It's this beautiful, complex, creative thing that could be anything, and it's only limited by your imagination. And I feel like so many characters don't get that. So many writers don't get that. And this was the first time in the Marvel movie that I felt like someone gets it.
Yeah, agreed. Marcus, it sounds like you have a lot of opinions about magic in movies.
I do.
Well, let's find out some of them with our game. Roll the clip.
I hate you so much.
Now try this trivia. Now try this trivia. Now trivia. Now trivia. Now trivia this.
We're back. What is this stupid game?
Guys, this game is called Magic Movie or Movie Magic. Marcus, I have 10 movies here. And I have a spell, and I have a spell that was cast in that movie. But Marcus,
now you see me too.
Half of these movies, magic is a thing that our main characters do, and half of these films are a magician, a charlatan, an illusionist, a fake magic person doing magic.
Okay,
and your job is to tell me. So the game is going to be, I'm going to tell you the spell, and you're going to tell me whether it's a real magic spell or it's a fake magic spell. And then for bonus points, if you can tell me the movie.
So fake magic spell as in not one you made up, but one a fictional, one that someone pretending to be magical did.
That's right.
Okay, great. Okay, cool.
Magic movie or movie magic? This is the first one. Are you ready?
Yeah, great name.
The first one is two people walk into a room and underneath them, the rug turns to quicksand and it's a Persian quick rug is the spell.
And what am I supposed to say?
Whether it's movie magic or a magic movie, whether it's a fake or if it's real.
It's real. It's a real spell that someone did.
It's real. It's a real spell. Magic. Marcus, do you know what movie it's from?
Carpet turned to quicksand?
And the main character specifically says, oh no, it's the spell Persian quick rug.
Is this from Magicians, the TV show?
No, but I'll give you one more guess.
Okay. Are they all movies? Not TV shows, right?
One of them is a movie. I mean, a TV show.
Okay.
One of them is a TV show.
It's not Harry.
But you'll never get that one right, so it doesn't matter.
Potter. What are magic?
I'll give you.
Okay, give me a clue.
Yeah. I did not use Harry Potter.
Okay, great. That's good. That's a good clue.
I'll do my best impression of the main character doing it. I'll do that. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it looks like they cast a spell. Persian quick rug. Oh no.
It sounds like Keanu Reeves.
Who also sounds kind of like...
I don't know, but I'm going to say...
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. He was in a magic movie?
That's too much time, Marcus.
It
was The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, I figured you
Was
did.
that
Okay, here's the next one. You ready?
Movie?
What? No, The Sorcerer's Apprentice with Nicolas Cage and...
Oh, Disney. That was in a Disney movie?
It was Disney, yeah.
Okay, go. Next one.
Next one is, they conjure an inferno of fire, and his face appears inside of it to intimidate a full crowd of people.
That is fake, and that's the Wizard of Oz.
It is fake. Marcus, it is not the Wizard of Oz.
Fuck you!
Do you have one more guess?
Okay. I don't have another guess.
Marcus, I'm so disappointed.
Oz the Great and Powerful?
Yes, it's Oz the Great and Powerful.
Fuck you.
Oh my goodness. How amazing is that? Okay, next one. You ready?
Yep.
They make a portal that connects two doors through space to move between them.
They create a portal to connect two doors through space to move between them. This is fake.
It is fake, Marcus.
The Prestige.
Yes, it's The Prestige. Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, fantastic movie.
It's a pretty good movie.
I thought it was great. Next up is somebody casts a spell to turn their eyes brown and their hair blonde.
Eyes brown and their hair blonde?
Yeah.
This is
that
real
or fake? That is real. Do you know the movie?
No. Cinderella?
No. Here, maybe this will help. I will tell you the requirements for the spell, which was rose petal, a candle. You touch the candle's flame, then the rose petal, and you say the spell, this is to feel, this is to be, shape and form it for all to see. By the powers of 3 times 3, as I will it, so shall it be. No.
What? Hocus Pocus?
The Craft.
Oh, The Craft. Whatever.
The Craft.
I feel like I was too young and the women in that movie were too my type as a little boy. I was distracted.
I watched The Craft too young too, and I didn't get it, but I watched it as an older.
I haven't watched it
as an older person.
movie.
You would like it. So, next one. The magician or charlatan, whatever you would like, uses a magic 8-ball to miraculously find their way to the secret dungeon holding the secrets.
Secret dungeon holding the secrets?
Yeah.
I will...
They use a magic 8-ball. Is this real or fake?
Say fake.
Marcus, it's real.
Wow.
This is a real spell that happens in a real movie that you know that what it is. Do you have a guess of what that movie might be?
Now You See Me.
Nope. I said real. That magic's not real.
I don't know.
Get out of here.
It's pretty good magic.
It is the house with a clock in its walls.
Okay, got it. Jack Black. That's one of the ones I almost guessed for the other thing. I haven't watched it. It's been in my queue for 3 or 5 years, I think.
It's very bad. It was very bad. I saw it in theaters with T. So next one, to scare away a group of people, a ghost summons multiple faces inside of his mouth to keep people away from his home.
Like a real ghost? Real. I'm gonna guess real.
Oh, Marcus, this is a fake one. And can you guess what this is from? I'll give you a hint. This is the one TV show I used.
Goosebump.
Everything in there is real.
I don't know.
Oh, you do, Marcus, because it is Scooby-Dooby-Doo, Scooby-Dooby-Doo,
Ah,
Scooby-Dooby-Doo,
God damn it.
Scooby! A pup named Scooby-Doo. It is the
Fuck.
first episode.
I love Pup Named Scooby Doo. That shit was so good, man.
Do you know that came out in 1988?
Really? I watched it when I was
Yeah.
like 7, probably.
Me too. We must have caught it on reruns.
That's fair.
Wild.
They
Lexi
need
had never
what-
seen it. I was like,
where
how do you
are
not
all
see
the
it?
fucking Blu-ray collections of all the cartoons we watched? Like, where is that shit? Why isn't someone trying to make money?
Rights issues. All right, next up. Room full of people, before they even know what has happened, has been transported to a desolate wasteland. Real or fake?
Fake magic.
That is fake magic, Marcus. Do you know what movie that's from? Ooh, that would have been a good guess. No, that is not. I should have used that. One more guess.
They've been transported to a desolate
A
wasteland.
whole room full of people. I'll give you
Is
a
it Now
hint.
You
It's
See
a
Me?
theaters. No. It's the incredible Burt Wonderstone.
Oh my god! What the fuck are these movies?
You know what movie that is.
Bullshit.
You know the movie.
I've never heard of this.
Next up, that's not true. Jim Carrey, Steve Carell.
I
You
never
fucking know what
watched
that
it.
movie
I
is.
wanted to watch it. I've never have.
You didn't miss anything. So next up, this will be our last one, Marcus.
Okay.
They use giant bubbles to float over above a crowd of people.
Now You See Me.
Now you see me. And I guess you're gonna argue that it's maybe real, maybe fake.
It's
That is
I'm assuming
9
it's fake, but you know.
That's 9 points, Marcus. There is one more. Let's see if you can get it to get
Okay.
to 10 and win.
Okay.
Last up, they use a spell to turn someone into a cat, a black cat.
I feel like it has to be real, but the way you said, I'm gonna say fake.
It's real, Marcus.
Oh man.
But you might get it because they turned that kid into a cat on Halloween.
That doesn't help me.
It
Hocus
does.
Pocus.
Yes.
Nice.
Hocus
Okay,
Pocus.
I got it.
And this is the spell they use. Twist the bones and bend the back. Itch it a cup, it's a melica mystica. Trim him off his baby fat. Itch a cup of melica mista. Give him fur black as black, just like this. And they turn Thackeray Binks into a cat. Marcus,
I didn't like that spell reading.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I should try better.
No, it felt like you were like taking from their culture.
The made up Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
Okay,
which
whatever.
culture? You're taking from which culture?
Well, we
man?
can get back to Doctor Strange because Marcus, you got 10 points. You won the game. Congratulations. You won the privilege of next time telling us something else off your shelf.
Hell
Good job. You
yeah.
won. You did it. You did it. You know your magic.
Mhm.
Marcus, back to the movie. Wow, what a fucking movie. What a fucking balls
Okay,
ass
so we
fucking
haven't really
movie.
talked
What a
about the
fucking crazy
plot
ass
or
movie.
anything yet, so we can start
Yeah,
doing that.
we can just say it
40
really quick.
minutes into the episode.
Yeah, that's fine. We've talked about shit. So the movie, the whole premise is there's America Chavez, this new character who can open up multi-dimensions, and somebody is chasing her. And you
Yes.
find out that it's the Scarlet Witch. And then it's honestly, here's my big criticism of the movie, right? Here's my big criticism.
Oh, hold on, before you get to that, America Chavez, right? First
Yeah.
line in the movie spoken in Spanish. I just want to just point that out.
Oh, nice.
The first
Yeah.
line in a Marvel movie that millions of people are watching, spoken in Spanish. I thought that was cool as fuck.
That was pretty cool.
Okay.
It was pretty cool. This whole movie is very, very MacGuffin-y. The whole movie is let's save America. Let's get America Chavez. Let's save America Chavez. America Chavez is saved. The end. Like
Sure.
that is, and I understand why,
Mhm.
and I understand that's what a lot of these movies are. And honestly, as I was watching, I was like, you know what? That is what most comic books are.
Yeah.
Like Peter Parker is saving somebody from something
Yep.
for the thing. Like, but I will say, because of that, I thought it didn't leave a lot of room for growth.
Okay.
I didn't think that the characters changed a lot from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. They started to play a little bit with Doctor Strange about
Mhm.
will he,
Yeah.
won't he, but it never feel like it really reckoned with that in a significant way. America Chavez was almost the same at the beginning and the end, except
Mhm.
now she believes in herself.
Yeah.
Wanda from the beginning and the end, there was no redemption. There weren't even really repercussions for what she did. So like, I feel like the only person who changed by then was like Wong, who like is fucking done with his job by the end.
I both agree and disagree with that statement. I see what you're saying about them not changing, but I do think that they changed in this film. I think that this movie felt like the second film in a trilogy, right? Where it is like
Sure.
they are experiencing the thing that will then be the catalyst for greater
they?
change later. I don't know.
What do you mean by that?
Wanda,
Well-
right? So like Wanda, right?
Yeah,
like
sure.
I meant just general they protagonists, but Doctor Strange specifically, right?
Yeah.
He is in this film. He starts off and he's like experiencing the are you happy? He gets that question early on. And that becomes a
true.
thread that's run throughout the movie, right? And then over the course of the movie, you see him like he thinks he needs to take on this burden himself. It's a big thing in the movie. He needs to take on all of the burdens. You find out that it's because his sister died when he was young, and so
Yeah.
he's kind of felt like he's
That's a
had
good
to
moment.
shoulder the responsibility of everything. So he's the one who
Yeah.
has to save everybody, right? He's the one who has to make these tough choices because he's the only one capable. And so he has this big ego because of it. And then I think he goes on this journey and he realizes that he's not the only superhero in the world, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he felt like he had to decide. He had to make the big call in Infinity War to like give Thanos the time stone or whatever. Like, he didn't consult with anyone else on that. He was just like, I've looked at every possible reality and this is the only way, you know?
There was that great line where Rachel McAdams said, "You always have to be holding the knife."
Yes,
To
exactly.
talk about his surgeon. Days, yeah.
Exactly. And so that encompassed everything. And I think towards the end of the movie, he let go. He let America Chavez save the day. He let her fight her own battle.
Yes, and he also didn't because he decided it was necessary to get into the Book of the Damned, and there are ramifications for doing
Sure,
that, right?
he did do that, but that was before he realized, right? So it was after he
That's
had
true.
already done that he then realized that he needed to let go.
And Wong did say, do the bad thing. And he's like, no, let me do it this other way because I've
Exactly.
learned.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, yeah.
That's there. But I think that is, I don't want this to like shortchange what you're saying. But for me, that felt paper thin compared to the arc we just got in No Way Home. Because I thought that arc for Peter
Yeah.
was super like crucial. And by the end of that movie and by the end of that trilogy, which is to your point, this isn't the end of the
Mhm.
trilogy.
Yeah.
He is a different character.
Yeah.
Right? He is
Yeah.
a different
But
person.
think about
So
the
I
second
think
movie
if the-
in those movies.
If
you know?
you're right.
It's the
If
same.
we get a third one that does reconcile with this stuff more,
Yes.
I will bite my tongue about this later.
I agree.
But for now, I think it was, you know, I guess when you frame it like that, this is the beginning of that happening. I
Mhm.
am way more okay
Yeah.
with it. That does make me way more okay
Okay,
with it.
cool.
But you know what I'm saying too.
I know
like,
what
it's
you're
like
I don't disagree.
it's like
This felt like technically this is kind of a standalone movie. Like, it could stand alone in theory because it's not like super tied to all these other characters. But like,
yeah. But it felt like there was more for Doctor
but
Strange.
it felt like there's more, right? But that's what you
Yeah.
want in a movie that you know there's going to be sequels
That's
to.
true.
You want
That's
there
true.
to be a journey for the character to go on. And so it felt like the 1st
Mm-hmm.
movie was him being an asshole and getting away with it and
Yeah.
having no real repercussions for it. And then this movie feels like
Everyone calls him an asshole, and he's like, "What?"
exactly. So it feels like this movie is him realizing he is actually an asshole and he has to do something about it. And at the end
Mm.
of the movie, he's no longer an asshole. At the end of the movie, he's taking the first steps to not being an asshole. And then
Interesting.
hopefully in the third
Yeah.
movie, he's not an asshole.
Yeah, I guess my commentary is more so than on Marvel at large, where it's like, I'm here for it. I loved Endgame. I loved the fact that took so long to get to, and it was such a payoff. But does that mean we can't have a little character development in
agree.
Captain Marvel?
I agree.
Does that mean we can't have an arc in the second Doctor Strange? We
I
need to
agree.
wait till the big crossover thing. But again, like, I don't want. It's gonna sound like I'm coming down to this movie, but we're about to switch to something else, and I'm gonna fucking praise the shit out of
Yeah,
this movie
yeah.
about something because, oh my God, Marcus, I don't know if we can go any longer without talking about the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch.
Dude,
Okay.
I was so blown away. That moment, I knew she was in the movie.
Yes.
I saw the end of No Way
Yes.
Home. I assumed, this is what I assumed. And I assume a lot of people were like me, where they assume Doctor Strange needs some help. He goes and gets Wanda. They fight this shit buddy cop
Yes.
style. And that's what the movie was setting up.
Yes.
He went to the orchard. He was like, it's real. Wow. You're doing better. You're crushing it. Come be an Avenger again. I need your help. You're the most powerful. And then that moment, oh, I know it's so cheesy and it's so overplayed
Yeah,
when
yeah.
someone's lying
Yeah.
because they have more info. And she's like, oh, you didn't tell me her name, did you? And he's like, no. And I'm like, they did not just pull that way out of left field, way fucking
Yeah.
such a cliche trope on me, and it works so hard.
Yeah.
As the Storm Lantern, the reveal of the hex where he thought she's so powerful,
He thought
she
it was
tricked
real.
him, and it fucking wasn't. That that wide shot of all that decaying and her revealing what was happening and her starting to evil villain monologue to Strange, I was like, whoa.
Even that moment right there, right? I feel like that is a very Sam Raimi moment where it is kind of cheesy, where it's like, oh, I've been pulling the wool over your eyes the whole time kind of thing. But it's also scary. Because when it's revealed and you see like how much damage the Darkhold has done to the environment around her already, it's like, oh shit, she's fucked up.
Yeah, it's a red hellscape, Nikki. That's totally right. I fucking love that. And like, I love that you said this felt like Sam Raimi, because I felt like there were seeds of of Sam Raimi at the beginning, right? I think fighting that tentacle monster at the beginning started to feel Sam Raimi. This felt like a Sam Raimi moment, but it was so weird for me because it felt like a ramp up. I don't know if you were the same, but it felt like a Marvel movie. And then slowly and surely more and more Sam Raimi felt like it got in the movie. And by the end, when he said whatever, I forget what the line was, but he said one line right before he went into the portal away from like America and Wong. And it was such a cheesy, bad 80s movie line. And I was like, my hands were on my head, and I was just like, this is Sam Raimi. This is full-blown Sam Raimi. This is not Marvel. Oh, Alexi said in that, so did I, kid. So did I. Yeah. And I was like, this is a Sam Raimi movie. This is 100% a Sam Raimi movie. And it tricked me because it started and it felt
as
like
a Marvel movie. It just started off as a Marvel movie.
He was at the wedding and it was like, let's get to some serious. Let me do some jokes. Let's have this serious moment over like a cocktail, but a little funny, marvelly, because my husband's actually in love with you. And let me jump off the banister to go fight this alien. I'm like, Marvel movie, I'm here. And I was sitting there like, okay, Marvel movie, yada yada. But by the end, I'm just like, Sam Raimi.
Yes.
Fucking Sam Raimi.
Yes, because I feel like Sam Raimi films are so hard to explain. Like, you watched Drag Me to Hell. So I'm so happy that going into this movie, you watched that movie. Because
me too.
There was a scene even in it that I was like, this is kind of like the goat scene in Drag Me to Hell a little bit. I don't remember what it was, but there was something where it's like the same sort of vibe where you're like, there's something creepy and scary, but it's stupid. And you're like, why is everyone scared of this stupid goat? But I love that. Are you okay? What's going on? You look like
I thought I had I remembered I sent a chest message and I didn't hear your reply back and I was checking. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please
okay.
go.
I was like,
I didn't know if I was working tomorrow. You're fine. Okay. No, everything's perfect. Everything's perfect. I just had a moment was like, am I working tomorrow? I don't know. Sorry.
But the movie eventually quickly becomes a Sam Raimi film. And so in terms of me personally speaking, I think Marvel needs to lean away from Marvel and get more interesting, unique directors to take on the Marvel films. You have Taika Waititi. He's doing a fucking great job with Thor. You have Sam Raimi.
But the Rains still feel like they're there, right? Exactly. They tried with Edgar Wright. They couldn't let go enough. So it ended up not being He Walked Away.
Yes.
They tried to give that movie to that lady that won an Oscar that did Eternals. I think they're trying, and I think this is the first signal like it can work.
Yes, you just need to let them go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
but then again, it's not always going to work, right? That's the problem, right? Like, like Eternals
sucked.
I don't know if that movie was bad because of the producers. It just was a bad premise and story. Anyway,
Eternals also, like, the comic books are kind of bad. Like, I don't mean to shit on them.
Yeah, but sometimes Guardians of the Galaxy movie sucks, and that's one of their highest franchises. Everyone loves the Guardians movies. But yeah, so just because there's so much to talk about, I think let's now
talk about that wedding scene real quick.
Please. Oh, sure. I love that scene.
Yeah, before you move on. That wedding
scene. It opens the whole film.
It's
great.
We'll talk more about it. But specifically, when I first was like, this is definitely a Sam Raimi movie, is when he sat down and the guy next to him was like, did you really have to like send everyone away? Like, my cat died and my brother died.
Do you imagine he gets that all the time?
He does. Like, it's public knowledge now that he's the reason that all these people blipped away. So if they missed like the birth of their child or something else, or
the death of their brother,
like they fucking just missed that stuff. And I'm sure they have like some kind of resentment towards Doctor Strange about it. And I like that they showed that happening.
That's funny. That felt quippy to me, not campy. still, there was a little bit of camp, but it was mostly
Well,
quip. So it still felt it
yeah,
felt like
yeah.
that could have happened in a Taika movie. It felt like
Yeah,
it could
for
have
sure.
happened
But
in a James Gunn movie.
Yeah,
but
the,
I know
the
what you mean.
bluntness
It's
of
the
it is
starting.
more, not necessarily the camp, but the bluntness.
Oh yeah,
of
the
it.
bluntness. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that whole thing. His whole characterization. I think Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's a fantastic actor. I've made you watch Sherlock. I think that's fantastic. I think he is phenomenal. I really love him in a lot of things, but I don't think he's had to do too much yet. As Doctor Strange.
Yes.
But this movie finally, I think, let him breathe a little bit. And even here in the beginning, when he's dealing with grief of watching the woman he loves, and I feel all that narcissism and that ego that we get from Doctor Strange. I also feel all that guilt and that grief. I also feel like I was bashing it before, but that question of, are you happy?
Yeah.
Is such something that is so ingrained in Marvel comics, right?
Yes, 100%.
That human behind the superhero. In this movie with Benedict and Sam Raimi here, and honestly, it's probably because of Sam Raimi. He did the Spider-Man movies. We have superhero movies because of him. X-Men happened. It kind of worked. People kind of liked it. There were 3 movies. It was a success. But when Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out, it was the mark of like, now we are in the superhero range, and we haven't gone back.
Yes,
we have not
100%.
turned back since.
Yeah.
And
also props to the writer.
felt like that.
The writer of the movie is the same as the Loki TV series, and
Oh,
worked on
yeah,
Rick and Morty
yeah.
and stuff like that. Great job. Props to him.
And the composer is Danny Elfman.
Yes,
I didn't realize
he
that till
does so many
after.
of the fucking Marvel movies now. I think he did some. He did,
Danny Elfman? I don't think he does. Does he?
He does. He does a lot of random shit. I see his name every time. I'm like, wow, the soundtrack was pretty good. It's always Danny Elfman. I think, God damn it again.
Oh, I thought he was on this because he always works for Sam Raimi.
Maybe that's what it is. But
Because he did the original Spider-Man theme.
he might have done he might have gotten credits on the Spider-Man movie. So that's why I'm thinking 2 Marvel movies back to back that had Danny Elfman credits.
That's probably what
Yeah,
it was. That's probably what it was. Because he did the originals. I think
Yeah.
he's a Sam Raimi partner.
Yeah.
Like he's a Tim Burton partner. I think that's the kind of thing that's going on.
But back to what you're saying about the narcissism, right? I love that scene because they show Doctor Strange as a human being, right? And they show his flaws, right? So he, in his head, is choosing. He thinks he should be with her, and he's choosing to not be with her without even considering the fact that she might not want to be with him. And you kind of get that in the beginning of the movie.
It's that like martyr syndrome kind of thing where he in his head, he's like falling on the sword when it's like, nah, dude, you weren't even involved.
Exactly.
You fucking left.
In his head.
And he has that attitude.
Exactly.
Yes.
He has this weird attitude where he's like, oh, obviously we would be together. You would want to be with me rather than being with this guy. But I can't
didn't
be
have to
with
choose.
you. Exactly. And so not even taking her, like the fact that she might actually be in love with this guy and that he might have actually missed his chance already to be with her. So I liked that he's like that in the beginning of the movie. And then at the end of the movie, it's just like, he doesn't, there's no reconciliation with her, right? Because that chapter's
a little bit with the
over.
alter
Exactly,
universe
yeah.
one, but not really her. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Which is
and,
interesting.
And then we get Clea in the post credits, so something's gonna happen there. Though we can talk about that.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I like that post credit scene. I don't know. But anyway, I think now is when we swerve to when the movie took a tonal shift. There were hints of it up to this point, but when Scarlet Witch attacked what's the name of the Sorcerer Supreme place? Whatever. The equivalent to Taj Mahal in almost inconsiderate ways.
Some fucking like
Carpetage. Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. So when Scarlet Witch invades Carpetage, it switches. The movie changes from a normal Marvel film, kind of, it has seeds of Sam Raimi, it has seeds of other things. And when Scarlet Witch was starting to attack, it seemed like a supervillain attacking any Marvel movie, right? It seemed like that.
Yes.
But during that moment when she got in, the movie stopped being an action movie and started being a horror movie.
Yeah.
And that was so cool.
Yes. We've been talking about this before, right? We talk about this a lot in Marvel movies whenever we do an episode of this podcast where we always say Marvel movies should have genres. Marvel, like superhero movies, aren't a genre. Camartage. I'm gonna have a hard time saying that. Camartage. Got it.
Camartage. Yeah.
Okay, but
thanks.
we talk about superhero movies in a way that we're like, superhero isn't a genre. It is not a fucking genre of movie. It is not a genre. Stop making it a genre.
I forget sometimes.
It's an action fucking film, right? That's the subgenre or whatever. And superheroes can be a subgenre of action movies or whatever. But they can be different genres. And for like one of the first times I think ever, I might be wrong or misremembering, but like we're getting a different genre of superhero movie. Guardians of the Galaxy
It's
was
been
sci-fi,
what-
I guess could be that.
It's been what they've been trying to do. Just like I
Yes.
said, we were saying about the directors where they've been trying to loosen up their
Mhm.
grips. They've been trying to. They tried to make Ant-Man's heist movies. They tried
Yes.
to make the first Doctor Strange a horror movie. That was
Yes.
the intention.
Yeah.
They tried to make the Guardians of the Galaxy more sci-fi. They tried making Thor more comedy,
Mhm.
but they all still felt kind of like Marvel-y.
Yes.
But this is the first one that I'm like, this is a horror movie.
yes.
And it got worse from there in terms of
Oh, it
horror.
got
Like,
scarier and scarier.
It got scary, dude.
This
Like I
movie is
handle scare, but I was like, this
I
movie's
got
scary
jump
sometimes.
scared. I watch
Yes.
horror movies all the time. I barely get jump scared. I got jump scared in this movie. I was like, oh shit.
It's because it's campy and silly. Sam
Uh-huh.
Raimi knows how to like intercede that really well.
Yeah, he
Like,
subverts
yo.
you. Yeah.
Totally.
Mhm.
Like, could you give Jordan Peele the movie that's gonna combine Blade, The Black Knight, Moon Knight, and like fucking like all the baddies?
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know, Justice League Dark. What's the equivalent of Marvel Knights? I don't fucking know.
No, it's
No, the Midnight Suns,
Midnight Suns
or something.
That's it.
Is that what
Yeah,
it is? Well, give Jordan Peele that movie.
Mhm.
Like, hell yeah. Danny Elfman did the music for Hellboy 2 and Justice League. Oh, I'm so sorry he did the music for Justice League. That was a
Not
paycheck for
Hellboy
him,
2 though. That
100%.
movie's good.
Hellboy 2's great.
Hellboy's
I loved
super
Hellboy
great
2.
movie.
Hellboy 2 is
Romeo and
fantastic.
Juliet, but with monsters? Fuck yeah, like give it to me.
But yeah, so that turn starts to happen. That moment when she gets stuck in the mirrors and she gets in the reflections. And that was when the magic started getting weird too, just to go off of our point from earlier.
Mhm.
The magic that Doctor Strange and Wanda are using is weird.
Yes.
And like that moment when they're like, she's coming through the reflections. I was like, this is so dumb.
yes.
And I love it.
Yeah.
When they're literally covering up the fucking water puddles. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I think
And America's like, ah!
Yeah.
the gog.
so. It's so funny too, right? Because when we have superhero films and we're trying to translate superheroes into the real world and making it seem realistic, I think we have a tendency to oversimplify everything. And I think that this
Yes.
movie,
100%.
I mean, as I kind of like as a society, we figured out superhero movies a little bit. We know what they are. And so like I think that allows for Sam Raimi and other directors going forward to play with it a little bit more and to do more, to be more scary, to play with the powers themselves and do something that's creative and out of the box. And I think that this movie also took a lot of risks, right? Like,
Yeah.
You have so many things that were introduced in this film, and this movie goes to such another level that it could have been off-putting for a lot of viewers and cost the company a lot of money.
Couldn't be worse than Blade 2. Old Man Rom, I think you're forgetting how amazing Blade 2 was. Blade 2 was the shit. If you're talking about Blade Trinity, I will give you that. That is not a good film. But Blade 2, go back and watch it. Wesley Snipes, he's my Blade. That fucking
Wesley
movie
Snipes
rocks.
was a great Blade. I'm not
was a
even
great
mad
movie.
at him. He did a great job.
Yeah. He had to team up with the vampires to fight the science vampires. Come on, Old Man Rom. Yo, give us that as a challenge to go revisit that movie on the
I would
Patreon.
watch
That'd be
that.
fantastic.
I watched that.
So I think what's funny is something you just said, and I don't want to take credit. I think I was listening to the Slash Filmcast where they were describing this movie as it feels so big for a second, right? We're dealing with magic, multiverse, all these things. But everything that happened, it kind of like got smaller and smaller and more specifically on Wanda, Strange, and America,
Mhm.
right? Somehow.
Yeah.
Like how they did that was actually pretty cool. But
Yes. They
the
did it
reason
by
I bring that up.
murdering everyone else in the film. That's how they did it, Nick. It's very simple. They murdered literally
so right.
everyone else in the
You're so right.
film.
There was no one else. There was no one else. Except more Stranges. So I think we'll take that to tailor into the fact of our discussion about the multiverse and what it
Mhm.
showed us, and then we can get into the
Yeah.
cool cameos. And first of all, you knew America Chavez before this,
yes,
right?
yeah, of course. I mean,
In Young Avengers
Yes,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
mainly from Young
She's always
Avengers. I don't know if she's
Nikki in the chat, so sad she killed everyone. Made me sad. Oh, I'm sorry, Nikki. Did Earth 813? Is that where you had your heart? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, no, you go with your point. We'll talk about the
No,
others and
no,
stuff
go ahead.
later.
Go ahead.
Nick, I was a little boy during this movie. I don't know
This was
about
crazy,
you,
dude.
but I was giddy as fuck the whole film. You had Sam
Yep.
Raimi and some of my fucking favorite superheroes and franchises in the film. Like, I was cracking up. I was laughing. I was
Hold on.
scared. It was great.
Did Tizam in the
Loved
chat
it.
just say they should have murdered more people? Two differing takes in the chat, guys. You come to our chat, twitch.tv/nowtrythiscast. You can fight about these things in the chat live.
I love it. No, but like,
yeah, I was the same as you.
I was watching a movie with Daron, and I was like,
Mhm.
I would turn to her like every fucking 5 seconds, and be like, oh my god,
Yes. Yes, me too.
Oh my god,
Yes,
yes. Oh my god, it was crazy.
Lexi in the chat says, so was Nick. He audibly gasped like a toddler at least twice and then was like rocking back and forth, laughing with pure glee.
Yeah.
Oh no, was I?
That was me the whole
I watched it
film.
with Lexi and her mom, and I felt so bad because her mom, she was so sweet. It was Mother's Day. And she was like asking questions about who these people were, and I was trying to answer a little bit.
Yeah.
But then when the John Krasinski and Patrick Stewart thing happened, she started to ask a question, and I literally went, shh.
You told someone to shush during a movie?
Lexi's mom.
Okay,
But it was a big moment.
so let's talk
it was
about,
a big
let's talk
moment.
about that big moment too, because we have to go back to Wanda and talk about her character for sure.
We
at
will.
some point.
We will.
But
We
gotta
will.
go back. But
But we got to talk about
that
the
moment.
Illuminati. That's
Yeah.
the big moment. So they introduced the Illuminati. I know you've read the Illuminati comics. It's an awesome premise in the comic.
Yes.
It's one of my favorites. It starts off with just Reed Richards, Iron Man, Black Bolt, Black Panther, Namor, Professor X, and Doctor Strange, and they decide to solve all the world's problems. They try to get all the Infinity Stones. They try to stop the Beyonder. You find out they started the Skrull War. It's a fucking dope ass comic that came out. And when they said Illuminati, I was like, holy fuck. Who is it gonna be? Who is it gonna be? And it was so cool. Marcus, I'm talking too much. Tell me who is on the Illuminati.
No, you're
How
good.
did it happen?
No, wait. In the comic books or in the movie Illuminati?
No, I told the comics. You tell me
Okay.
the movie.
So in the movie version of the Illuminati, we basically end up at it. Doctor Strange is going through the multiverse with America Chavez, and then you end up finding they end up getting captured, and they run into the
Bordeaux,
Illuminati,
who brings
which
them
is
to
this-
the Illuminati. Yeah.
It's sort of like the Illuminati is complicated, but like you said, a group of superheroes got together and decided in secret to run everything. I don't know how secret this version of the Illuminati is, but you can think of them as this version's Avengers, right? Because they're the ones who went up against Thanos and stopped him.
Yeah. They released a little secret because they pretended Doctor Strange was a hero and decided to do that. So there was at least some secretness to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they reveal it. And so some of this was already spoiled in the trailers, right? So we got
None of it for me.
none
of it. So cool.
Professor X. That's the only one that was spoiled in trailers.
Which is
Stewart's
garbage.
voice comes over and you see Professor X coming out, and it was like, oh god, I'm so excited. But in that moment, when they played the 90s animated series music sting, I shat myself.
It was the wheelchair for me that killed me.
The
It was the
music
wheelchair.
sting. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
The yellow wheelchair.
I yelled.
Ugh.
I yelled in the theater like a little kid. I was
Some
so
people have
excited.
said, like, oh, what if that is Professor X from the TV show? Like, what Earth is that?
Yeah,
you know? Like,
exactly.
trying to posit it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we
But-
got that, and
go
then we also get pan over to the rest of them. We have Black Bolt, who's played by Black Bolt from the TV series.
Which is so cool. Tizam said in the
Mm-hmm.
chat that show was garbage. Everyone agrees it was garbage, but like respect. Like, hey, dude, we treated
100%.
you like shit. Can you come do this and wear a more ridiculous
Yes,
costume?
Exactly.
And good on him for being like, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And he did a
Yeah,
great
of course.
job. I'm happy for him. I'm
He
so
did.
glad they didn't recast him.
He got to say one thing, so
Yeah.
he fucking crushed it.
Yep.
Memorable, so
Uh-huh.
memorable.
They got
We get Captain Marvel.
Peggy Carter.
Peggy
have
Carter,
Captain
yeah.
Marvel, who ends up being Monica Rambeau's mom. I forgot her name, but like
Yeah, but she was
that
in the Captain
character,
Marvel
which
movie.
is cool.
Yeah.
Bring her back.
She was one of the only cool parts of that movie. I
Mhm.
hated Captain.
Yes.
I hated Captain Marvel.
They bring Peggy Carter, which I loved because
Oh.
I loved seeing.
I
her
love
in
Haley
the-
Atwell.
I hated What If. I thought it was a very bad TV show, but I loved
Sure.
that we got like Captain Carter out of it, and so
Sure.
we got this cool like British version of Captain America.
Did you watch Agent Carter?
I loved Agent
The TV
Carter.
show?
That was a great show.
Me too. I
Mhm.
thought it was a great show.
Yeah.
It was like no stop, a great show.
Yes. Yes.
Like a
It
fucking
was fun.
40s, 50s spy show in the Marvel universe with little Easter eggs. It was
It
great.
was a great show.
She's awesome.
Yeah. So she killed it on
then-
that show, and then we get to
Yeah. Marcus, go ahead.
John Krasinski fan
Go ahead.
cast as Reed Richards. I have been
If you
waiting
build
for
it,
this.
they will come.
I have been waiting for this forever. You know, I love the Fantastic Four a lot. I love the X-Men. And the fact that we get them both in this film finally in the MCU.
on screen together.
My heart.
And the
couldn't
people
take
we
it.
were our first picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
cool.
And then I had to watch
All
him
the
get
back and forth.
murdered.
Dude, it was
Immediately.
wild.
And then I
Those
had to watch him
those
get murdered.
those murders were wild. And for me, I love it. Was such smart storytelling because some of these people we don't know who they are. I mean,
Yes.
I know who they all are,
Of course.
but I know a lot. I know Lex
Yeah,
is
yeah.
sitting there thinking like, who the fuck's
Well,
Blackball?
that's what I
But
want to
for them
see.
to show us
Mhm.
how his power works, just to kill him
Yes.
the way they did, was such smart storytelling.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think it's great too because so many people, right? This movie is off-putting in so many ways to the normal Marvel movie viewer, right? Like a lot
Yeah.
of Marvel movie viewers will go to a Marvel movie and they will get something along the lines of Fast and Furious, where it's like, doesn't really matter how much of the other ones you've seen. Sometimes it does, but you can get a quick explainer on
Yeah.
YouTube or something. Go in, watch an easy to digest film, and you leave. A lot of like directors too kind of shit on Marvel movies because they're like, oh, this isn't providing any like sustenance to like artistic movie viewers or whatever the fuck. I don't know. But the fact that this movie took a big risk, because Sam Raimi as a director is off-putting, right?
Yeah.
And also the fact that they're willing to introduce all these concepts and go fucking buck wild with it without having like 20 movies that introduce Reed Richards or the X-Men or anything like that. And you just know because you've seen the X-Men. You've seen fucking Fantastic Four, similar to, you know, what they did in No
and
Way
more
Home.
importantly, you know who John Krasinski is. That's why it's so smart.
And you know who John Krasinski
half
is.
half the people were cheering because of John. What the fuck's his name from The Office? Jim from The Office.
from The Office.
And half the crowd is cheering because of Fantastic Four. It's so smart.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
get everybody.
Yeah. You got everyone. And he's
Like
great.
Lexi's mom went, oh, I love him. You know. Afterwards, she's like, you know, they're coming out with the 3rd season of Jack Ryan. I'm like, oh my god.
But I love him, and like T in the chat said, everyone's been kind of wanting him and Emily Blunt to be Reed Richards and Miss Fantastic
This whole time.
I would like that too. I don't know how they would do it because they're much older, and to introduce them, maybe it's a multiverse thing. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I really like
That'd be
that.
cool. Give them their fucking kids. We haven't had that story.
Yeah,
You know, like we don't need to see them go up and get hit by fucking gamma rays or whatever the fuck they
Yes.
got to do to get their
Or they
powers.
could
I don't
do
need that shit.
with kids. Like they are parents who are also scientists, and then they go to space.
Oh, that'd be wild. That'd be wild
for a quick
if they did
mission
that.
and ends up being crazy.
I will say though that I don't know how you feel about it because I know the circumstance for this is they probably got John Krasinski there for one day, half a day on a green screen. But this was the only moment because I've been in the camp of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, Fantastic Four.
Yes,
Let's do it.
Yes.
Where I was like, that's not like what you're gonna do like in the movie, John, right? Because you just said your lines and then like got killed. Like you didn't like. But I will say, Reed Richards is super fucking hard to do.
Yes,
He's
he is
super
hard
fucking
to
difficult
do.
because he's detached. He's
Yeah.
the world's smartest human. Honestly, like Doctor Strange, he's a bit of an ass,
Uh-huh.
and John Krasinski's known for being a likable guy.
Yeah,
So do you just change who he is, which I'd be fine with.
yeah.
But I will say he wasn't Reed Richarding it up for me
Fair enough.
too much yet.
I will say this: in the comic books, they've done a lot of work to make Reed Richards more likable. He's still sort of like a little bit detached, but like he loves his family above everything else. Which
Yeah.
I feel like in the beginning of his character, he liked science above everything else. But now
That's
definitely
true.
in the comic books, he loves his family above everything else. So like you can see it, and I think that would be cool to see that version of him in the movies.
Yeah, totally. And I just love how they all got killed. I mean, Wanda's super fucking powerful.
Yeah.
And this was the moment when we really saw. And yeah, my favorite thing was like they were like Doctor Strange was like, well, what are you gonna do? And they're like, oh, we're gonna go take care of her.
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, right. And
They got
Yeah, right.
destroyed. They got destroyed.
and I think my boy Blackball for me wins most favorite kill for me because when they're like, this is Blackball, and he's just like standing there like this.
Yeah.
And they're like,
because he's
he
so
can kill you with the
powerful.
word
Yeah.
with the word. And she's just, and it's so horror when she's like, how are you gonna kill me with no mouth? It gave me Matrix vibes. What mouth? That's what it was. Yes. And they go to him and he doesn't have a mouth. And then he speaks in it.
Yeah.
Marcus, that is so wow.
It was scary. It was gruesome.
Wow.
Sam Raimi is a very violent, gross out director. Like there was a scene in Drag Me to Hell that you hated where the lady has a nosebleed and just shoots projectile.
That was so dumb.
everywhere.
That was so dumb. That was so dumb.
But and he just kind of is like that. He likes a lot of like gruesome but not like violence, because it's not like you're like, I don't know, it didn't feel as violent, but you're seeing a lot of like blood and gore and stuff like that.
Well, it was PG-13, but it felt like it was like cutting that line. I'm sure they were fucking. They had to be close. And then of course, I think everyone's death was great, but Professor X was really, really cool. You know, getting Professor X in that big white void. I know like the Mind Palace stuff can be like a little tropey and a little dumb, but it really worked for me. That really big fucking white vast with the red mist coming and her coming back and doing this to him to get him.
Is a little bit like magic stuff, right? Where it's like you go into someone's mind and it's supposed to be weird and trippy, but a lot of like visual creators, you know, directors and stuff like that don't really nail it every time because they don't make it weird enough. But
yeah, I think I know where you're gonna go with your answer for me, but I do not want to ignore the chat because they are having a great discussion about whether this was too far, whether this made Wanda irredeemable, whether this was necessary, whether this is the arc we wanted for Wanda, whether it's what should have happened. And I just want to give the voice to that opinion. Like, how do you feel about those things? I think I know, but
yeah. So I'm of two minds about it, right? So basically, I think that I've seen a lot of people online making the point that this film is sexist and like, or, you know, it's not giving her the full breadth of like a character development and they're just using her as a villain and stuff like that. Yeah. And I could see that.
I hear it. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people don't like her becoming evil because of what happened after WandaVision and where she kind of
seemed like she was
herself.
getting redeemed. Yeah.
Yes.
It seems like that's happening.
But I do, it's hard for me to say. I disagree with all of that, but I understand it and I respect it and it's valid. You know what I mean? I'm not like saying you're wrong. Anybody who thinks that is not wrong necessarily. It's not wrong at all. I just
great. I'll do it. They're wrong. They're straight up. I'm just kidding.
For me personally,
I agree with you.
I really enjoyed this character arc because it felt like the first she dealt with WandaVision. I mean, what she did in WandaVision was super fucked up. And there were no consequences at all for it. She just got away scot-free. And so this, even though at
you
the
find
end,
out she was affected. She did not get away scot-free, right?
Exactly, yeah. So everyone's like, oh, she had a nice arc in WandaVision, right? It's just like, oh, she did a bad thing, and then she kind of redeemed herself at the end and went whatever. She was sending demons after America.
Well, she wasn't suddenly. There was off-screen stuff, right?
Yeah,
like she was dealing with the Darkhold for months, you know?
Yes.
It's hard.
Okay, so then, let me continue my point. So then, basically, WandaVision, that arc was there. And then in this, I feel like this was the second part of that story. Once again, the same thing with sort of the Doctor Strange thing, where it's like, I think there will be more with Wanda. I do not think she is dead. I do not think that this is the end of their story. If this is the end of her story, then you know what? That does kind of suck. And I am not as happy with this arc kind of thing because I don't want it to end here. But if this is the center and it is just an extension of what happened in WandaVision, where she was doing a bad thing and she's just doing more bad things to sort of like the nth degree, and then she can be redeemed in whatever film she appears in next, I think that would be nice. I want to see an ending for Wanda that isn't this ending. But I have faith that I think that's coming. It might be a while, it might be a little while, but I don't think she's done with this whole multiverse stuff.
I can see that.
That's why I'm at.
I think my biggest fear is because the multiverse thing in America as a character is they so easily could bring in a different universe as Wanda. They could so easily bring in a different universe as Reed Richards. And I don't want that too much. I really, really like the idea of what you're proposing and where it's going. And if they're just like, no, she died, here's another Wanda, and now we have
I don't like that either.
To fight the next annihilation wave or whatever. I'm just like,
I want whatever. Because in the comic books, right? Like I will admit my knowledge of like Wanda in the comic books is not the best. I haven't read everything she's in. But I do say she is known for like the No More Mutants line, right? Where she says no more mutants and she gets rid of a bunch of mutants. And she causes House of M. She
straight up fucks the world.
She changes reality. And I feel like this was Marvel attempting to do something similar to that. Because that is also a very fucked up thing. She did this big fucked up thing in the comic books, and they're trying to bring that to the movies. So I kind of understand this being that version of it.
Yeah, I'm super surprised that we still haven't had her be responsible for the mutants thing. I totally assumed that she would reverse that somehow by this point.
Yeah.
But also, I think, honestly, I haven't read everything either, but I've read a good chunk. And the way that the Marvel Universe up until now has sidelined Wanda is honestly kind of like what they do in the comics. She was in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and then she kind of became an Avenger in the 90s when they had jackets, and she was there. And then Bendis used her to kill off a bunch of Avengers, and then Marvel used her for the mutants thing, and then she was just like in hiding for like 10 years of the comic. Dude, she was just like gone for like 10 years, and they have brought her back for little things here and there to, like,
especially dealing with her
try to
son
redeem her
too.
and try to especially because of her son stuff. And for me, that stuff hasn't actually worked too much. Like, for me, I don't feel like Wanda as a character, the Scarlet Witch as a character, and to be fair, I'm not reading comics right now, but that's kind of the point, right? Because like there's a part of comics that transcends reading them, of like what is going on in the universes of comics. And I don't think she ever broke that threshold for me. And to be fair, you know, the movies aren't like the comics, right? Iron Man wasn't important until Iron Man was important in the movie, and then he was important in the comics, right? Like that stuff intermingles all the time. So I think this is cool because this might give us better Wanda movies in the comics, but I also think that by giving her this villain role, and by making her the antagonist, and I know antagonist has like a negative connotation because it's like the bad guy, and she was very bad and irredeemable in this movie. She got so much more because I don't think she was gonna get her own movie, and honestly, I don't know if I would have wanted her to watch her own movie. There's nothing about her and the story so far has made me be like, I want to watch a Scarlet Witch movie. I would have watched it because I love Marvel, but that WandaVision show was phenomenal because it was so different. And what she did with this movie, I think, was so much more character and so much more value to where she could go than I think we would have otherwise gotten. I understand all the things that you said you understand about how, but she's just killing a lot of people. But for me, and maybe it's me imprinting my own feelings onto it. I know I do that a lot. A lot of us do, right? But the mom thing, the what she was willing to do thing, that hell has no fury like a mother's scorn is something that I don't think gets the kind of stage light like it just did in this movie. And I understand that's bad. I understand that it's not good. But for me, the way I read into it is I like that Wanda had so much agency in this fucking movie. Like, is she manipulated by the Darkhold? Yes. Is she completely off base? Yes. Is she kind of off the wall? 100%. But like, she is the insider of these incidents because all the way up until now in the Marvel universe and the movies, she has not had any agency. She has not done anything. And they started to deal with that in WandaVision, right? Like how she was feeling by having no agency. And what she did with it. And she was toting that line between good and evil. And you know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I bought it, and I think it was Elizabeth Olsen.
She did a great job.
Her, like, when those moments where like I forgot what the word she used, but I was being fair until this point. I was being merciful.
You believe it
until
she was.
I was like
going easy on them.
I totally bought that.
And honestly,
you know?
to see the full extent of her as the Scarlet Witch is really cool and interesting too, right? Because like if she was a good guy in the film, I don't think we necessarily would have seen the full extent of her powers, right?
No, she would have done some cool things, and she would have been
she would have.
And maybe
her powers
maybe
so far have been glorified telekinesis up until WandaVision, when we really saw her reality warping powers. Before that, in the films, it was just telekinesis.
Yeah, totally. 100%. And we would have gotten, if she was the good guy in the buddy cop movie, we would have got a moment when they would have went to another world and she would have saw another, you know, Tommy and Billy, and she would have been like, oh no, I want to stay here. And next time she's like, oh, you can't. And then maybe she would have stayed there. But then we would have had the same problem with her again. She got sidelined. She got put in her place. She got put in a box over here. And in this movie, she made the fucking box. And I really like that.
I thought it was really cool. I think Elizabeth Olsen sold being a villain. She was
so good.
Job. She was an incredible.
I never doubted
her. She made the movie. Like, I think there were a lot of good parts of the movie too, but she fucking rocked it. And as a villain too, like has been the best villain I've seen in Marvel so far.
Gosh, I mean, I love Killmonger. I love Thanos. I really liked fucking Kang, but yeah, dude, like even Thanos like was more surface level than this was.
Exactly,
I mean,
for sure.
This was really, I understood what I at no point was I like, I don't understand what you're doing, Wanda. I was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, more
So
so
I'm
like
like,
you
fuck
have
it.
the edgelords who are like, blah, Thanos was right. Blah, 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 blah. Like you have those
Sure.
guys, right? Like
Sure.
but this in terms of watching this film, I saw it and I was like, man, like fuck, like yeah, I could. There
Yeah.
are totally things you could see yourself doing this for if you had her power.
Oh, Lexi said she was over the role for those reasons and came back for Wonder Vision and this specifically and talked about wanting agency in her contract and the freedom to say no. Good for her. Yeah. And she deserved it because she made this movie. I think Benedict's great. I think a lot of the Sam Raimi stuff is great. I think the magic is cool. We've talked about so many good things, but for me, what made this movie was her portrayal as the villain because wow, was she like fucking amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, and Nikki makes a great point. And his final argument is we're supposed to feel about Wanda the same way Billy and Tommy feel at the end, terrified. She was wrong for doing all she did. And again, it made Nikki specifically so sad because I know Nikki likes the character. And and like that's I think Nikki's completely right where like that means what they wanted to do, whether you liked it, whether you're not, whether you think that's what it should have done, whether they shouldn't have done, it worked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And I think that the point in which I feel like in WandaVision, she kind of experienced the loss of her children and stuff like that. And like, but that was at the end of it. And she kind of came to terms with it. But I don't think she had time to process.
No.
And she immediately at the end of that got the Darkhold and was like, cool, give me the evil book. There was no gap in her like processing anything that happened. She lost her children and immediately set off on getting them back. Yeah. And so like now we kind of got this like, okay, cool. We're experiencing her doing whatever, crossing the line to get her children back and then realizing that she fucked up and that the thing she wanted, she couldn't have.
Yeah. And for someone as powerful as her, I'm sure her mind was more like, yeah, maybe it's not okay for me to like torture all these mice, but who cares if I kill a bunch of mice?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that difference. It's probably the distinction in her head.
T said something, Tazam said something about her being a Nexus being. I don't have a theory, but like, here's my thought process about it. Scarlet Witch is a Nexus being. I don't think she is. And Scarlet Witch is sort of like in this film, not in the comic books, but in this film is sort of like the evil version of her. Because she says in every other universe, I have children. And in this one, I don't. So maybe this is the only universe where she's evil. I don't know.
Oh,
that's
interesting.
That's just something I'm thinking about right now because I saw that comment. Who the fuck?
Maybe. But moving on from there, I think that after that, we just get into the third arc stuff, which is, you know, he meets more Doctor Stranges and there's more, like you said, he uses the Darkhold and there's the big climactic final battle with the demon bodies and shit. And yeah, just pivot there to the end and the way this movie starts to wrap up.
Yeah, so there's a huge misdirect too, right? From all the trailers and stuff like that. We think it's him and Wanda teaming up against maybe this like evil version of Doctor Strange. And we see two evil versions of Doctor Stranges, right? We see both in the trailers. We see the zombie and we see the other guys who are like, okay, does that guy become the zombie? Or the zombie and him
the one
up?
In red when he's wearing his like the Defender kind of uniform.
Or a lot of people were theorizing like, oh shit, the zombie universe that we saw in What If is coming here because we saw them go into like another dimension. So maybe they're like traveling the multiverse. Nope. But it was just a dead Doctor Strange body that he possessed and did some magic shit.
That was such a Sam Raimi moment. Even when he said it, what did he say? He was like, he said, I thought you need a Doctor Strange to be able to dream walk into. And he's like, I never said he had to be alive. And you're like, buddy, what?
Yeah. It was so cool and silly and campy and it was fun.
And the demon moment coming out and Rachel McAdams was like, no, you control the
yes.
And he's like, yeah.
This movie, I think I wanted to say this because all the superhero movies have been super predictable. And while, yes, you could have guessed the overall sort of big picture stuff in this movie, there were so many twists and turns in the film that I was like constantly taken aback. And I love that. This was one of the first movies in the Marvel Universe to do that.
Yeah. Completely agreed. And again, I know I knocked it earlier because I think that point is valid, but the arc of him at the end and Wong saying take her powers as he's a fucking zombie and Benedict Cumberbatch, who is a phenomenal stage actor who's played Frankenstein on fucking stage and shit, is there as just like, no, America, I believe in you. you use your powers. And for you to be like, yeah, Doctor Strange. Yeah, you tell her. And his jaw are like coming out and all that makeup's on his face. And you're like, yeah. Why does that work? That shouldn't have worked.
It worked.
Because Sam Raimi just leans in, baby.
Yes.
He just leans right in.
We haven't talked about America Chavez at all.
To be fair, there's not too much to say. She has kicking down door powers, and that's it.
She did a great job.
She did great.
Her a lot. She was very charismatic.
The girl.
And I'm very interested to see more.
Yeah. And I think question from Nikki. How do you feel about America? You guys are two peas.
Yep.
I liked how they portrayed her really faithfully as a fan of the comic. I love that. I liked that we got the moment. I thought it was dumb where the moment where you walk in a thing and you see a memory and that's how you get a Doctor Strange moment and an America moment. But I'm like, you know what? Give me the tropey stuff because it worked.
Sure, it worked.
Yeah. It worked.
Yeah.
And I love that we saw that moment. It was a little dumb that it's like she saw a bee and then her parents are gone forever.
It was pretty dumb. But that was also very that felt like a dumb Sam Raimi.
It felt right.
This writer who was on Loki. It felt like something that they would come up with.
Yeah, it didn't feel wrong.
Yeah.
I think it was a great introduction to America is, but it didn't give me any of what America is yet.
I want to see more of her.
Yeah, it's totally great. And I think there's totally room for that. I think if they gave me a whole series, like what if she was in Loki season 2 and Loki needs to go 100%. Try to find King and shit, and that totally works. And leading up into Young Avengers, she totally works. And I think her powers are explained just enough. I love the visualization.
Yes.
They made little star portals. They did it like you're supposed to in the comics. And I'm like, it looks dumb and cool. And like, fucking lean in. You know?
Worked so well.
I love how
her character was so good. I think that
and it didn't feel like virtue signaling anything.
Yes.
She felt like she was who she was, you know.
Yeah.
She was a Latina and she's gay and she has 2 moms and like none of it felt pandery. It just felt like, no, this is who America is, you guys. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you know how people do this, they'll be like, look, we have this on our side. Look who we got.
Marvel and DC do that shit all the time. And it's like, okay, do you really care? Like, are you putting like queer writers on there to actually write these stories? Are you just making like an issue where they like team up one time? We got all the gays together and they teamed up. It's like, okay, that's fucked up.
Yeah, Nikki makes a great point. He says, I feel like she wasn't really introduced. He wanted more. And it was. I think this was exactly right. Because now, I mean, the great thing is it's smart because maybe it feels like we didn't get enough of her, but we want more, right? That's perfect feeling. Exactly. And now when she's introduced, we don't need to do backstory. We don't need to do power explanation. We know who America is. Yeah. And now get to the cool stuff, the personal, the personalized stuff.
I think,
what does she like to eat? How is she on a date? Like normal stuff like that.
All introductions to all superheroes going forward should just be something like this. I don't want I don't want the whole movie to focus on them. I don't want whatever. I just want like, get me who they are personally, give me a little bit of their backstory and leave me wanting to see them in their own film or in another film. That's all 100%. I need. I don't need America to get her own like introduction movie. I don't want any more introduction movies. But what we got here, I think was good. We could have gotten more for sure. But it is a Doctor Strange movie, so I understand the level they
you got me thinking. It's like, is there anybody left that I want a whole introduction movie for? And I'm like, no. Blade? No, just fucking throw him in. Werewolf by Night? He's a fucking werewolf that turns into werewolf at night. I don't fucking need him. Just throw him in the shit.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, even Moon Knight was like, it's like, I'm one episode from the end and it's like explaining a little bit more of his backstory than I even needed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I understand why it's there. I think it's cute how they did it in the afterlife stuff. I'm like, this is cool. But I'm like, I didn't need it.
I would have just Oscar Isaac, and I did not really like that show.
I think Oscar Isaac is fucking visionary in that show. He's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I like where I'm at, but all the verdicts are coming in that it's a disappointment by the end, so I'm preparing myself. But
everyone I knew loved that show, and I felt crazy the whole time being like, am I watching a different show? Like everyone loves
the critics
this show.
agree with you. A lot of critics are agreeing with you. They're saying it fell off and it didn't. And some people are critics are rather harsh on the Marvel shows in general when the main people in the world are like, yes, Marvel shows. Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know?
I like the one episode of Moon Knight, but that was it.
Yeah. I like it. Moon Knight's so dumb. I like it. But anyway, back to this movie. That's pretty much it. Shazam did bring up one thing when Wong flip so quickly to Wanda and from you would kill this child to we need to defeat Wanda to kill this child. For me, it didn't feel that way to me because Wong always felt like a character who was like he had more on him than he should have. Like he's like a good dude and he like is smart and capable and strong, but he's not supposed to be making these like big and Benedict Wong, I think, is a wonderful actor. So he always portrays it that way to me. Like Wong feels like the guy that wants to go sing karaoke, but he's there for like to help like when you need it, right?
Yeah.
But he's like in charge right now. And he like it's not that he's not capable, but it feels like he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
You know? He's there for the joke of it, but like he's not like it kind of feels like, oh shit, well, Steven, what should we do? It's like you're the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
You know?
No, well, I think he takes charges a little bit and he like understands it.
He
but
does.
you're right, because
he doesn't come our
they have
touch.
this weird dynamic where it's like, okay, but like Doctor Strange, I guess, should be the Sorcerer Supreme. So like what's going on? Yeah, you're right, Nikki.
Well,
He's not owning it.
I think Wong is interesting because I think he knows that Steven is stronger and smarter than him, right? You know, but a little bit of it, you know what? I think maybe it might be a little bit of it in my head. I think because Wong also seems like the character that would just give it to Steven.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
But when he deserves it, I think.
That's what it is.
And
I think
Steven
Wong
doesn't
knows
deserve it yet.
that he's not there yet.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It feels
and
like
he's like
Wong knows he's holding it for Steven a little bit.
Yeah. And teasing him about it because they're like friends.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So I don't
but
know.
Also,
I guess before we like wrap up, I feel like we're getting towards the end. I heard, I saw a theory somewhere that
it's a demon.
No, that this
demon?
doesn't take place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That the whole movie is a different universe because Marvel, Kevin Feige have established that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Earth like 81 some shit or whatever. And then in the movie, they're like, oh, you're from Earth 616, which is the comic book universe, not the movie universe. And so the fact that they told us that the movie universe is Earth, whatever, and then gave it a different number in the film, and the fact that like Wong is acting so different, and that Wanda is kind of being like evil to the point where it doesn't necessarily make sense. Like it's kind of interesting, and I've seen people playing with that theory a little bit and like explaining it more. I don't know if it's true, but I think it's
fun
kind of
theory.
Cool. Yeah,
fun theory, fun to play, but I don't think it's that at all.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man 2, Quentin Beck says it's 616, but then again, does he really know about the multiverse because he was making it up, right? So. But now we've established it comes in her dreams. So maybe Quentin Beck, Mysterio knew about. I don't know. I think it's totally. I don't think they're.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one guy who was lying and made up everything and didn't know anything about, like, you know, he was like, oh yes, Earth 616.
I don't know. I think it's one of those things where they didn't know what they were doing yet, and now they know.
Yeah.
You know, but I did have that same thought. I was like, they've been calling this Earth 616, but like that's the comics. That's a different universe.
Yeah.
They should like. That should exist separately, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's fine. I think that's a fun theory. But I don't think it's true. I will say I really love that moment when they kick through the different dimensions and you see the hell dimension, the paint dimension. Like, honestly, I think the movie could have been a little more weirder and went a little farther with some of the magic because there were just some moments that felt like, and now is our moment to breathe so we don't spend $1 billion on this movie. And it's hard for me to not see those seams a little bit. Like when Doctor Strange and Mordo are fighting for 4 minutes, and I'm like, why are you fighting in a fucking ditch? Like, what is this part of the movie? Am I supposed to be like, oh, they're fighting?
It could have been a cool magic fight or something.
Yeah.
But it was just like a fist
or
fight.
Like get like Shang-Chi fucking like level of fighting in there. But it was like a very like, it was almost a TV fighting moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't to the level of rest. T brings up a incredible point. I think it needed another 30 minutes. Lexi, when it was done, was like,
how long was the movie?
She said something to the effect. Hold on. Don't take away my plug.
Okay, I won't.
She said something to the effect of, I just don't understand why this was one of the shortest movies. Like it could have been over 2 hours. And I was like, baby, we just got out of the movie. It's been 2 hours. And she's like, no.
Yeah, baby.
But it was 2 hours and 6 minutes. It could have been 2.5.
It could have been 2.5.
Honestly, I think it should have. Which is wild. Which is wild.
When do you leave movies that long being like, it should have been longer?
Never.
Should have been longer.
We make that argument all the time. The movie should have just dropped 30 minutes and it would have been better. almost every movie, almost every TV show.
Yeah.
But this one, I was like, nah, give me another 30 minutes.
Give me more. Give me more.
Yeah.
I liked it. Also, shout out to Bruce Campbell. I love him. He's the best.
Yes.
Evil Dead, my boy. If you have a Sam Raimi film, you know Bruce Campbell's going to be it. He was a great actor. Pizza Papa, one of the best characters I've ever
Pizza
seen in a
Papa.
Marvel movie. Love it. Great. Pizza Papa is going to be the next Thanos. I'm calling it here.
Ridiculous. I think. Question. Do you think John Krasinski was in the movie as a wink and a nod, and it's going to have nothing to do with Fantastic Four? Or do you think he's our Reed Richards? I don't know. I've heard people argue both very adamantly, and I have no idea how I feel, what I think. I don't know.
I think it doesn't matter, and they don't know yet. I don't think they know yet.
You don't think they know yet?
They have the Fantastic Four movie that's being made, right? But they don't.
They just lost their
anything about the
director. They
cast.
just lost their director. It was the Spider-Man director, and they just lost him. That's where they're at with that.
So like exactly. So like that's not even cast yet. So I think it just depends on like the vision, who they end up getting. It could be cool.
Yeah.
Get John Krasinski. Let him act in it and directed it.
That's what people have been saying. I think that maybe after he sees how this movie does and how if they have enough fanfare, I could see them wanting to do it, but it's just such a commitment.
Yeah.
They have a family,
Yeah.
you know. But they did make both Quiet Place movies, and I know it would be bigger and better than that, but you watched both of them, right?
No, I haven't seen the second one.
Marcus, it's even better than the first.
That's what everyone says, but every time I go to watch it, I'm like, I don't want to watch it right now. Something about it.
I made Lexi watch the first one, and we watched the second one in theaters, and it was fucking great. It felt like a Last of Us movie or something.
Shit. Wow.
Yeah, that was like the vibe. We were following mostly the daughter.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was really, really cool. And he directed that one too. And Emily Blunt in those movies, like everyone, she was supposed to be the Black Widow and she turned it down, but I could never see her as that, but I could see her as Sue because of how she was a mom. But now that they've done that movie, maybe they don't want to do that because they kind of did Fantastic Four, right? Like that's what that Fantastic Four movie would kind of be. I don't know how I feel. I think it's so Fantastic Four, I feel like it's such a hard nut to crack.
Yes.
I feel like the Iron Man movie wasn't that hard of a nut to crack. I feel like Thor was, but you give it to Taika Waititi and he crushes it. I think Captain America wasn't too hard. I think Doctor Strange, was a little tougher. Fantastic Four is tough.
It is tough.
Because Fantastic Four has changed so many times in the comics.
Yeah.
So like Spider-Man is always Spider-Man in the comics. You know the feel, you know the vibe. I know what a Spider-Man comic is. Fantastic Four has changed so many times. That first movie is so different from the reboot, which did awful, which is going to be so different than what they already the next one they're going to do. But they can't do another origin, No,
and
we they have a world.
Origins. We're
already
done. I think what we can do is I mean honestly, I guess I don't know because you kind of have to introduce them a little bit. But I think we could do them as parents. They could be scientists. They could go into space, fuck things up, come back.
Is that what it
deal
is?
with the family dynamic of it, or get lost in the multiverse. I don't know, and have them
Maybe
kind of be a part that way.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they start the movie in the 60s and 70s, and the Fantastic Four thing happens, but it also shoves them into the future.
That would be
or
cool.
something.
Like they're displaced from
like
time a little bit too. Like they were trapped in the multiverse, and then they come back. Something happened.
Something maybe.
So they ended up getting out there, and then they come back. That'd be interesting.
Reed Richards, that scientist from the 60s?
Something.
Just
do that. Yeah.
I'm just spitballing a way to get them here now because they should have already been here, but they didn't have the rights, so they weren't. And then also mutants. I have no idea I still don't know how they're going to do mutants. I mean, they can't leave it on the table, right?
Yeah.
They can't not make an X-Men. They bought Fox for this. This was one of the reasons they bought them.
I know.
But they must know.
They're gonna do it.
Kevin Feige must already know, right?
Yeah, they know what they're doing, but I'm interested to see. I think they wait. They do things and they wait a lot. So they'll do something and then they'll wait. They'll do something and then they'll wait. So we'll see what happens. I think they're waiting on fan reception from this movie to still kind of come out and then see what they do.
That's true.
For.
I feel like this was weirdly one of the least set up-y Marvel movies we've gotten. Like, it introduced America, and we know America is going to be somewhere, but you think there's going to be more Wanda, but there could easily not be.
That's true.
We know there's going to be more Doctor Strange, but besides the post-credits sting and what's happening there, it didn't feel like it was setting up Infinity Stones or trouble with the timeline or incursions. I guess the incursions a little bit.
Incursion is what it set up.
It introduced the concept of
which
the incursions.
Is then going to
and Kang is coming.
Secret Wars. you know.
Secret Wars. Do you think that's gonna be the next thing?
Yeah, did you read
after
the
Ant-Man
Incursion?
and the Quantum of whatever?
Did you read the Incursion storyline in the comic books?
Secret War? Yeah.
The new Secret War?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did bits of it. Yeah. I know it has to do with the
So
Incursion because of the new
that's-
Illuminati with the beasts and
so
stuff.
basically Earth's
I read that.
universes start to crash into each other, with Earth being the focal point, and then so the
Yeah.
Illuminati have to go and destroy the other planets or whatever, try to save everybody.
Yeah, I think with the Incursions introduced in here and then Kang being in Quantumania, I think we're gonna have our next insight into what's next. And I think you're right. I don't know exactly what form it's gonna take, but I think it's more than likely gonna be called Secret Wars and involve that.
Quantumania, Ant-Man goes accidentally into the negative zone, which ends up being the multiverse, and then he finds Reed Richards, who's trapped in the multiverse, and Sue Storm, and brings them back. And that's how we get them.
Sure.
I don't know.
That is how we found the old Wasp, though, stuck in the microverse.
Well, no, maybe they're stuck in a different, like he ends up going to a different universe. They're stuck. He tries to send them back. They end up helping him go back. I don't know. Whatever.
It's wild how little we know about that movie and how important I think it's going to be because it's the third Ant-Man movie.
Yep. It's
And
the third
people
Ant-Man
are
movie.
lukewarm
It's the
about
only
them.
one with, like, we know Kang is in it.
Yeah.
It's the
and
only
they
appearance
introduced
of Kang we know
and
about.
Loki, and he is
After Loki.
ain't gonna be important,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's
Yeah.
got to be
Yeah.
wild.
Okay. That's like 2 hours of talking about Doctor Strange. I love this.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we covered just about all of it.
I think so. Guys, if we missed anything, hit us up on our socials. Let us know. We love talking about Marvel movies. We love talking about comic books. Nick, I got to say this. This is the first Marvel movie that we've talked about that I've been so excited to talk to you about, because I felt like other than just gushing about us loving comic books and whatever, I feel like we got to have actual discussions about like character development and movie making and movies, the movie part of the movie instead of like the superhero part of the movie.
Yeah, well, it's because most Marvel movies are pretty cookie cutter. So it's like, did we like that cookie cutter or did we not? Is kind of the discussion.
Yeah.
And we're like, yes or no. And then that's kind of it.
So
Like, that was a cool moment, that fight. But this like had ramifications. It dealt with like humanity and it dealt with like who the fuck Sam Raimi is.
I feel like
fucking Sam Raimi. And Marcus, I still don't know. Like, but there were so many. I didn't even talk about it, but there were so many moments in the movie that were so Sam Raimi and so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That I just literally had to be like, what? Like, I feel like this movie was so close to being amazing. Some of the script was just a little like, it was so thought out storyboard wise and filming wise and effect wise that I'm like, you want to re-explain why you're here one more time for me? Like, just like the little explanations between all the moments where it's still a little stilted to me. And again, I think the characters could have benefited. I think they kind of pulled a trick on us. This is the Multiverse of Madness, right? Because they went to one multiverse.
What do you mean?
They went to the one. They only really went to the one place and then came back.
That is true.
Yes, there was the other Doctor Strange. You saw it for a second. Yes, you saw them fly through them for a second.
Well,
but they kind of tricked us, Marcus.
That music fight was whole on another different universe, right? No, it wasn't. No, it was the same universe. It was the same universe as the Illuminati, right?
No, it wasn't. No, because an incursion actually happened there. The Illuminati, they stopped an incursion. Yeah, but it was also one room.
I'm just saying.
Which was cool. But they like pulled the wool over our eyes thinking like the amount of time we spent in 813 was a lot.
Yeah.
I think we could have done 3 or 4 longer periods in other things and been just a little more weird. I think we could have afforded it. Because I don't know if we're going to get a movie like this again. Like, I don't think they're going to.
Quantumania could be like this. The fact that
that's time, I think, though. That's time.
But we've learned that time and the multiverse are the same thing.
That's okay. Facts. Okay, fine. You're right. When you go back in time, it's another universe or whatever.
Yeah. So,
which still barely makes sense.
It doesn't make sense, but who gives a shit? Comic books, right? Like fucking whatever.
Yeah. At least they're like, yo, this is weird and hard. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Is like their stance on it.
Yeah.
Lexi says, oh no, there were 4. Yeah, there was the 5 minutes in the beginning. There was the 5 minutes in the evil Doctor Strange, and there was the 45 minutes in Earth 813, and then the rest of the movie in our world, and that was like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they kind of tricked us.
In one universe, it was paint. So I don't know.
But what was that universe like,
I
Marcus?
don't
Like,
know.
show me some
I don't know.
more.
I think
Like,
you're
there
right.
was
I would love to
why
see
wasn't
that
there
be
a fight?
movie.
Oh my god, what if there was a fight? What if you just added 15 more minutes and it was a fight between, some of the Illuminati and Doctor Strange in America before Scarlet Witch came, and it like they kept passing through
Yeah.
different dimensions during the fight,
Yeah.
and then like they ended up in an animated universe. And
Yeah.
then they ended up in a fight. That would have felt like a Simpsons episode or something.
It
a
would
little
have,
bit, or a
yeah,
Family
but
Guy thing.
it would have been
But what
fun
if they
too.
ended up in a world? There was the zombie one,
But
and then what if
we're
they ended
not
up in a
done
world
with the
like
multiverse? So
I
we're going to
don't
get
know.
more, and there's a chance for us to get that. But I think you're right. I agree. That would be cool to
This
see
is the time
fights
to do
through the
it.
multiverse like that. I mean, it
Yeah.
would be interesting if the multiverse ends up being stabilized in a way, and then all of a sudden we're like, we need someone to explore the multiverse and chart it out, and we get like the time people again,
sliders
and
or
or we get
slashers or
like
sliders.
Fantastic
What is that? What is
Four.
that?
Sliders.
What is that? What that TV show was called
Yes,
when they went to?
I love that.
What if we
TV
got
show.
that as a Marvel Universe show
That would be great.
with America and Loki
Charting
and
the
someone
universe.
else?
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
That would be fun as fuck.
Yeah, I think that's what Loki could have been, but they ended up being at that office so fucking much.
That also was just like,
Again, they kind of tricked us. They tricked us there.
You're
They're
gonna
like
go see
a
all these
lot of.
timelines. Nope, you just went to the one cool one.
There was like
with
there was like
Alligator
three
Loki.
for a
and everyone
second,
was just in
and
there.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's
Well, Marcus,
my alarm's going off. It's gonna go off.
Marcus,
for
that
30
is,
seconds.
Marcus, that is Doctor Strange. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Nope, that is all I have to say about Doctor Strange, Nick.
Well, then I have some questions for you, Marcus. Did you like this movie?
I love this movie.
Do you really think it's your favorite one?
I think the most recent Spider-Man movie is a close contender, but
Yeah.
I think it is my favorite MCU movie. The
I
new
loved
four
it.
could maybe change that, but it's up there.
Yeah, but Endgame was really like a big deal,
Endgame
dude.
took like fucking 20 years to make it good. Right? Like,
But that's why it was good. It was it was like a fucking you finally came, right?
yeah,
you finally
and
came.
it was great, but it's not good without all of those movies. And like,
That's true. This
I
could be
would
good by
never
itself.
rewatch that movie, right? Like, I judge things
I
kind
haven't.
of like by how much I would rewatch them a lot of
Yeah.
times, and
And I'm gonna
like,
rewatch this.
I wouldn't rewatch that movie, but I would rewatch this one. I was talking to Darren. I was like, I want to watch it again. Like, as soon as the second it is out, I am watching it again.
Lexi wants us to go back to theaters because we reactivated our AMC Plus to
Mhm.
go see this because it was a deal where we got our AMC Plus for $1 for this month by re-signing
Oh,
up.
nice.
So we saw Doctor Strange for $1, and we had to go back for free. So she wants to see it again. So maybe you're right, man. I have to think about it. I have to think about my rankings, guys. If you want to see our rankings, if you want us to see a tier list, a YouTube video, or a tier list, yo, Marcus, let's do a tier list of Marvel movies. Anyway, Marcus, would you recommend this film?
I would definitely recommend this film. I think it's harder to recommend than any of the other Marvel movies. Like, I don't know if my mom would like this.
Your mom would love this movie. What are you
She
talking
might.
about?
She might. She's weird about stuff. She loves like brutal violence, but she is weird about it sometimes. I don't know. But yeah,
Weird.
she might like it. I think it might be too
Yeah,
cheesy for her.
I agree with you.
But I don't know.
It is pretty cheesy, sure.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but the fact that Lexi's mom, again, she's my barometer now of the normies who
Mhm.
like these movies, and she loved it. She loved all of it.
That's good.
She was on board for the whole thing, and she was like, "It was scary," but she was like there for it. It was that kind of scary where it was scary, but there was like a little bit of that cheesiness made it like it was scary.
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
not like I was fucking scared. It was just
Yeah.
like
There was a safety
I
blanket.
was scared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit.
It felt like a horror
Marcus?
house, a haunted house.
Are you gonna watch the sequel?
I am definitely gonna watch the sequel. Sam Raimi needs
Yeah.
to be attached to the sequel. I'm sorry, like I know
Yeah.
that these things change directors all the time, but I think he's like made the definitive Doctor Strange movie.
When a director does well, Marvel repays them. Like John Watts kept doing all three Spider-Mans. The Russo
Yes.
brothers came off of Captain America, did
Mhm.
both the Avengers movies.
Yeah,
Marvel is pretty like I think Ryan Coogler is still doing the Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
No, we never mentioned Ryan Coogler. He also had a take on his Black Panther movie, right? Like
Mhm.
he,
Oh, yeah,
like
for
they
sure. He did a great
started
job.
to let him say
Yes.
his kind of story
that,
with
that
that.
was another one that I really
Yeah.
liked that I would rewatch. Yeah.
Yeah, same. And Marcus, that's all our questions.
Oh man, have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No,
Oh, you haven't seen it?
no.
I was gonna say that is like that is someone else I would want to see a Marvel movie from, and I think they could do Doctor Strange really well if they took that.
Oh,
over.
sure.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm a Sam Raimi guy now. You got me on board.
Yeah.
I'm back. This is the Raimi sans. Let's go, baby. give me 6 more Doctor Strange movies with this weird ass motherfucking guy. And fucking
I
go
love it.
weird and ape shit. Go ape shit.
I can't give you any more Sam Raimi because I want you to keep liking him. So I can't
Yeah,
like
no,
give
you
you
can't.
more and ruin it because you're gonna
Nope.
get too much.
No problem. No, you can give me Evil Dead someday.
Okay.
Maybe for next Spooky Boys month.
Yeah.
Well, Marcus, it is your week. It is your challenge. What am I and our fans going to have to watch and digest for next week?
Nick, I really want you to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I'm not going to give it to you this week because
It's too relevant and in
it's
theaters.
too
right now?
relevant. It's too on brand. It's in
Okay.
theaters. We just watched Multiverse of Madness. We don't need multiple multiverse movies back to back. But what we do need, Nick, is you to watch this show that I love that I can't get anyone else to watch because they don't watch anime. So, Nick,
Oh, we're going back to anime. You
Anime.
fucking weeb.
you're
what are we
gonna
watching?
watch Spy X Family. You're gonna watch the first 4
Ooh.
episodes of it.
4 is already out. Okay.
5 are out actually, and by the time you probably get to it, 6 might be out.
Oh my god.
But yes, watch the first
Well,
4
I
episodes.
might try to catch up then, but okay,
I mean, do whatever, but 4 episodes for sure.
is the challenge. Got it.
Mhm.
Great. Okay, I know that this exists. I almost read the manga many times, but I figured I'd wait to the anime, and I
Mhm.
have not gotten it. I love that this is the reason I'm watching this. Thank you so much. I'm so excited about it, guys. Next week we're doing Spy X Family. And guys, that's the show. You can let us know what you thought about the show by tweeting at us and Instagramming us at Now Try This Cast. You can join our community, join the conversation, and vote on a topic we do every month at patreon.com/Now Try This Cast and make a donation of just $1, and you'll be a part of the community. And if you happen to have a Twitch Prime account, go ahead and go to twitch.tv/Now Try This Cast. Subscribe to us for free with your Prime or for $4.99 on our Twitch. That is where we see the most return for our dollars. But if you can't do any of that, if you have no money to give, that's completely okay. Just do us the favor and go to iTunes or Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review and write something in it so we can read it on the show.
Yeah, it's a free shout out on the show if you write something, promote your business, do whatever the hell you want. Send us a message. We'll read it.
I would love it if we read a 5-star review. It's like, yeah, Al's window cleaning service is offering a discount.
Guys, if you made it this far in the podcast, I do want to remind you that we are charting in other countries. According
We
to I don't know what the website
we're
was.
top 2%, baby. We're top 2%.
Top 2% of podcasts, guys. So
Top 2%.
it wouldn't hurt you if we promoted your business on the podcast.
I don't know if it would help, but we can definitely try, baby.
Okay. Well, you said all the things you needed to say. And now I want to say thank you for joining us. We love you. Good night. And remember to go out there and try some things.
Good night.
Friends get together so they can try things. Yell about it, it's podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Anyway, okay. So Doctor Strange, it's your challenge after. You know what you're giving me?
Oh, it's mine. Oh, it's not. Oh, fuck. It's not the fan challenge.
Yeah.
God damn it, Nick. Good. Thank you for reminding me. Fuck. What am I watching? Let me look at my.
But I thought you might forgot because there was a cop out on my part.
I 100% forgot. I thought this was like the fan challenge and then you were giving me challenge. Or we had the fan challenge next week or something. Okay, let me look real quick. Just watch. What's on my watch list right now? We got Under the Banner of Heaven. Nope.